Was the cladding at Grenfell Tower illegal? You must know by now.
Well, what we're doing, of course, Piers, is making sure that we check cladding in high-rise buildings across the country, the cladding is made of aluminium composite material, and that is a process that's been ongoing. The first thing we have made sure is that we get help and support for those who've been affected by the terrible tragedy at Grenfell.
Mr. Sharma, with respect, you keep answering different questions. The question's quite straightforward. You've had nearly 2 weeks now to work this out, right? Was the cladding at Grenfell Tower, was it banned, cladding, or not?
Piers, that is a matter for the police investigation to come forward. But what we've been very clear is that certain types of cladding are not compliant above 18 metres or in buildings which are more than 6 stories high. And that is why we've been carrying out checks as a matter of urgency. And
so you don't, just to clarify, and to be very clear from my end, you don't know whether the cladding at Grenfell Tower, even after all this time, you don't know if it was banned or not?
Well, Piers, from what we've seen, it would suggest that the material that was used was combustible. But as I said, at the end of the day, this is a matter for the investigation that's taking place.
And if it was combustible, was it banned? I mean, there seems to be so much confusion, and you're the housing minister. It's really quite straightforward. Nobody seems to know. In America, where I spent a lot of time, it is banned. This combustible cladding is banned. It is illegal. In Germany, it's banned. In the Middle East now, in large parts, on high-rise buildings, it's banned.
Just answer the question.
Just a simple question. Is this combustible cladding banned?
Piers, if I could just say to you that I think at the end of the day, neither you nor I are experts when it comes to these matters, and that is why we have to be led by experts.
You're the housing minister.
Yes, I'm indeed the housing minister.
It's literally your job to know.
I am not an expert
We've got thousands
on fire
of people.
Safety, Piers,
Well, Mr. Sharma, with respect, I don't want to shout over you, but with respect, thousands of people in this country are currently being evacuated, in some cases turfed into the street, without their pets, without knowing where they're going to be living from day to day, and they're being turfed out because it turns out the council tower blocks they're living in are utter death traps. What nobody seems to know is whether they are using banned combustible materials. Are these materials that they're being found, Piers, are they banned?
If I may just answer the question, when you're asking the question as to whether the cladding is non-compliant on these other buildings, for us it's absolutely vital that the safety of those in those buildings has to be absolutely paramount, and that is why we have a process of testing that cladding. We're working very closely with local authorities, with housing associations, and that testing is going on round the clock.
Well,
and we're getting those results. And can I just say that 60 of the buildings that have been tested have failed. There have been evacuations in 4 of them, and that is because, in the case of Camden, there were other failures when it came to fire safety, not
Mr.
just
Sharma,
to do with cladding.
can I put the question in a slightly different way then? If I was a builder putting up a tower block today and I wanted to use this aluminium composite cladding with this polyurethane core, if I was putting up that tower block, would I be allowed to put that cladding on the tower block?
Susanna, the building regulations are very clear.
Right.
For any building above 18 metres, this would be non-compliant.
So when you say non-compliant, you mean banned, do you? Do you mean it's banned?
It means that you are not allowed to do it.
So it's illegal?
Well, you are not allowed to do it. It is non-compliant. I mean, the regulations are very clear on this point, and clearly the public inquiry has been set up to investigate precisely what happened, and we will get to the bottom of that.
So
we just had a fire expert, absolute expert, who said it's not clear. He's read the regulations numerous times, and he said it's absolutely not clear, and that is why these builders have been able to circumnavigate the regulations, because it isn't as clear-cut as you're saying it is.
Well, as far as I'm aware, what is absolutely clear is that when it comes to this type of cladding, it should not be applied on buildings over 18 metres.